Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this second day of February, and welcome to this educational presentation. Now, today I want to talk to you about why you aren't getting the results you want from candlesticks. That's been estimated that anywhere from 75 to, I'd say, closer to 90% of all traders, whether you're just beginning or you've been trading for a while, have used or applied candlesticks to their trading at some time or another. Maybe you tried it once, it wasn't your cup of tea, or perhaps you're still using them in your trading. Well, if that's the case, then why aren't you getting the results that you were promised through candlesticks? For example, let's take a look at this older chart here. This is an LMT, Lockheed, all right? Now, someone looking at this would say, well, okay, we're in a downtrend, and we know that candlesticks are usually reversal patterns. And what do we have here? We have a bullish engulfing pattern. In fact, this is the pattern we're going to be focusing on today. This is probably the easiest pattern to identify, and it actually is a very good pattern to recognize for change in the market, but in a different way, because traditional wisdom would say this was actually a buy signal. So let's say you bought it, and then a week later, you have a loss in your hands. Well, maybe you think to yourself, well, maybe I got in too soon, because what do we have here? A second bullish engulfing pattern. Two very bullish patterns that are at the core of candlestick trading. So you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to get scared. I'm going to buy some more. So you double up, and then this happens. See, this is what happens with most candlestick traders. They're not seeing the type of results they were promised by using these patterns. So how can we get the results we want from candlesticks? Well, I'm going to show you how to get the results in today's educational presentation. For example, looking at the exact same chart, what I'm going to be teaching you today, you would not have taken these two buy signals. In fact, you would have taken this one right here, and then another one right here, and then another one right here. So you could have been able to potentially see the results that you were promised with candlestick trading. Now, everything going to be seen today is taken from a display on our platform, the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform I designed with Pro Trader strategies that really makes candlestick trading simple. So this promises to be a great educational presentation today. Thanks once again for joining us. My name is Steven Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to my webinars, we are all about educating our students. In fact, that's our only goal. As a mentor, my goal is simply to teach you how to trade. Now, the reason why I say that is because I've been trading for 45 years now. And if there's one thing I've learned in my 45 years, it's that most traders start out learning the same things, and then ultimately they give their power away. By giving their power away, I mean they take someone else's decision-making process or even an indicator to tell them what to do. I mean, think of it. How do you make your own trading decisions on a daily basis? If you're like most people, most traders, you would probably go to some type of chat room to see what they're saying in the chat room, what they like, what they don't like. Maybe you would listen to the so-called gurus on TV, find out what they're buying or selling. Or maybe you would simply wait for the earnings or some jobless number to come out, some economic number to come out to tell you whether you should be buying or selling. You see, when you trade that way, you're basically telling the markets, I don't know what to do, so why don't you make the decision for me? And that's why it's been estimated that upwards of 80 to 85% of all traders fail, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying this to be arrogant or condescending. I did the same thing. I was taught the same exact things when I first started trading some 45 years ago. I looked at all the earnings reports. I listened to all the fundamental news. We didn't have chat rooms and trading rooms then. In fact, we didn't even have the internet, but we had newsletters that I subscribed to, and I did everything that they said. And guess what? I couldn't make a dime. It didn't make any difference. Every once in a while, I'd have a winner, but then I'd usually give it all back within the next week or so. So what I've learned in my 45 years of trading is that the only traders that have stood the test of time, that still have that longevity, are the ones that make their own trading decision. And so you say, well, how do you get to that point where you can make your own trading decision? It's through sound fundamental education. If you're educated in the things that work, then you can put together some type of plan that makes you feel comfortable and rely on that and feel confident enough to make your own trading decisions. You'll never have to go to a chat room. You'll never have to subscribe to some blog. You'll never have to wait for all the earnings to come out, because you'll just know right in front of you whether you have a buy setup or a sell setup. It's really simple, and it's a lot more, in my opinion, it's a lot more or a lot easier way to be a consistent trader. So this is what our goal is, to teach you all of these things that I've learned in my 45 years so that ultimately you can make your own trading decisions. And you'll see that attention to detail in today's educational presentation. Now, before we begin, as always, we are required by law to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to share with you a lot of performance results, looking at a lot of charts, some old, some as new as maybe a couple of days ago. But please remember, we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, a lot of people that are new to my webinars, my free presentations every Wednesday, I give these, they'll say, hey, Steve, where can I get some more information on you? Where can I follow you a little bit? Well, we have a Twitter page, so I invite all of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. I would suggest copying that down because every day I post different information, signals some of our strategies have generated, and I go into detail as to why they were generated or what they're based off of. And I also give little bits of financial wisdom as well that I've accumulated along the way. So there's lots of great free education on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, if you've come to my webinar today thinking that, well, Steve's going to tell us what he thinks the market's going to do, if it's going to go up or going to go down, or if he's going to say, well, hey, this is the best stock to buy, or this is the stock to short, or this is the the Bitcoin or the currency pair that you should be buying, or the cryptocurrency, or the futures. You've come to the wrong place, because once again, that goes against our philosophy. You see, a good mentor should never tell you what to buy or sell. He should teach you so that you can make your own decisions. So that's what we do at Specialist Trading. When I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies, our goal was simply to teach traders, not to trade for them, but to teach them how to trade with the specialist edge. Now, this was the same edge that was taught to me some 4 decades ago on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange, where I was on the floor for nearly 20 years, and where I was a specialist for about 9 years, where I made markets in about 60 stocks. And the same education that my mentors taught me is what has really sustained me to be able to trade for 4+ decades. So I hope I'll be able to do the same for you. Now, a few announcements before we begin today's class. This is being recorded, so if you have to leave early, if you're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording. Many times, if you can't see or hear clearly, just log off and then log back on, and it's your internet connection, so it'll be easily resolved. Also, since this is being carried over the Zoom platform, a lot of people think this is an interactive class, and we talk to each other via our microphones and look at our cameras. No, this is a static PowerPoint class. So it's just like a classroom. So please be sure to disable all of your cameras and microphones, okay? It's not going to be that intimate of a class. It's basically just a PowerPoint presentation. Lastly, if you have any questions, I want you to ask them, but please wait till the very end. I have upwards of 150 slides to share with you, a lot of great examples. But if we stop for each one to ask a question, we'll be here far too long. I don't want to take all of your Wednesday afternoon. So please, if you have a question, write it down or remember it. Oftentimes, your question is answered on the very next slide. So just wait, and I promise if it is an answer, I will get to it at the very end, okay? So remember, disable all cameras and microphones, wait till the end to ask questions, and everyone is getting a link to this recording. All right, with that stated, let us begin today's class. And we're going to begin by talking about what you really need to see the results you want with candlestick trading, regardless of the market you trade, or regardless of what time frame you trade. So in order to do that, we have to apply 2 edges. These are edges that will help you to become consistent. So what's the first candlestick edge? Well, it's a strategy. It's a proprietary strategy we have at Specialist Trading. It's strategy number 5. Okay, let's go over some of the highlights. It's a non-traditional candlestick method. So it doesn't follow conventional wisdom of how we were taught, myself included, how we were taught to trade candlesticks. Now, it has the ability to be traded with all candlestick patterns. We're only going to focus on one, once again, the bullish and bearish engulfing patterns, because they're the simplest to identify, and they occur just about more than any other pattern as well. Now, remember, strategy 5 can be applied to all markets and time frames. So it's up to you to decide. There's probably the most common question I get is, well, Steve, what market should I apply this to? What's the best market? Or what's the best time frame? Well, the best market or the best time frame is the one that makes you feel the most comfortable. Remember, you're in charge. You have to get away from that notion of saying, well, Steve, what do I do? Tell me what you think. That's the way we're all trained And this goes against our entire philosophy at Specialist Trading. Our job as mentors is to provide you with all the different information and the variables, and then work with you so that you can decide which one you want to pick and choose, which ones you want to make your own trading plan, and so that you can feel comfortable. You won't be consistent until you feel comfortable with your trading plan. And the way you feel comfortable is by you developing it, not someone else, not going to a chat room and just finding out what everyone else is buying or selling. Okay, so let's look at these older examples. And once again, we're going to show you some older examples. And then later on in the presentation, we'll show you some more recent examples, okay? Here's the strategy number 5, buy signal. And as you can see, it's very consistent. Look what happened in the next 2 days. The stock went up tremendously. And this works to the downside as well. As you look at Facebook, an older chart of Facebook, 2 sell signals were generated. And as you can see, a real nice trade for each one. Now, strategy number 5 is very consistent. But I know a lot of you think, well, consistent means that it has a ton of winners and almost never loses, right? That's not what consistency means. A consistent strategy is one that's able to recoup the losses it has. You see, losses are perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with losing. In fact, 2 of my trades that I did today in my own personal trading were losses, but I happen to have 4 winners. I like to day trade. And so they recouped the 2 losses I had. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the only thing that's wrong is when you have a strategy that's not able to recoup those. Because every once in a while, you'll see an example like this. Here's the strategy number 5, buy signal in AMC. This is an older example. And look what happened. We all know what happened to AMC a year or so ago, right? It took off. But you have to be quick because many times it'll come all the way back down. So oftentimes it just, if you go away for a week or 2, or if you're not watching, you've given away a good portion of your profits. On top of that, you can get a signal like this in Tesla and it won't even work at all. So remember, strategy 5 is a great strategy. It's highly consistent, but we have to ask ourselves, is there a way we can increase the consistency of strategy number 5? Well, yes, there is. This brings us to the second candlestick edge number 2, and that is by applying the PET D. Now, this is a tool I was introduced to some 4 decades ago on the floor of the stock exchange. At that time, we had to calculate it on a calculator, a hand calculator. It was very cumbersome, but we've taken all the hard work out of it for you and made it into a proprietary color bar tool. So the PET D is a color bar translator, all right? It's not a predictor. It doesn't predict how high or how low something will go. It doesn't generate buy or sell signals. It's simply a translator. It translates on a tick-by-tick basis what any market, any time frame wants to do. And that's a tremendous edge. For example, as we look at this older chart of Aetna right here, we see it was going straight up. And most traders, myself included, would say, well, by this time, it's time to buy here because I'm pretty convinced this is going up. And the minute you get in, look what happens. Goes to the downside. This is why a lot of traders fail, because you're out of sync with the short-term trend. But on our platform, it's as simple as just clicking on the PET D tab and the colors automatically change. When you see a series of green bars, the trend is up. When you see a series of red bars, the trend is down. So it tells you which direction you should be trading. And once you know that direction, you can apply virtually any strategy and you will increase your odds for consistency. So how are we going to use it today? Well, remember those 2 edges. When we combine these 2 edges, strategy 5, along with the PET D, we create our candlestick combo, one of our most popular packages we have, trading packages at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, the candlestick combo, because this, I strongly believe, will get you on to that road of consistency. Will get you the type of results you've been searching for with candlesticks. Okay, so remember, we're going to be talking about bullish engulfing patterns today, once again, because they're easy to identify, because you see them all the time. And just remember that this can be applied to any candlestick pattern, but we're just going to be focusing on this one. Now, if you're not familiar with a bullish engulfing pattern, it's a 2-bar pattern. Bar number 1, as we see here, is usually a down day or a down bar. It opens and closes lower. Bar number 2 is an up day or an up bar, where it opens and closes higher. Now, the reason why they call it an engulfing pattern is because the open to close range of bar number 2 engulfs the open to close range of bar number 1. When you see this pattern, that usually tells you that you have a fairly high probability of whatever market, whatever time frame you're looking at, continuing on a higher level, okay? Now, here's the way we're going to apply it with the candlestick combo. We're only going to buy if the engulfing bar, that's bar number 2, is colored green. So bar number 1 can be red, it can be green, it really makes no difference, but bar number 2 needs to be green. So in other words, we want to see the candlestick go from this to applying the pet D to look like this. Remember, it doesn't matter what bar number 1's color is, but you see the outline of bar number 2 is green. So what is that telling us? The candlestick combo is saying that this is a high probability up move waiting to happen. That's how simple it is. This is the candlestick combo. Now, let's look at bearish engulfing patterns. They're basically the same thing, just turned upside down. Once again, it's a 2-bar pattern, but in this case, bar number 1 closes up on the bar. It opens here and closes higher. And bar number 2 closes down, opens here and closes lower. Now, it's called an engulfing pattern because bar number 2's open to close range engulfs the open to close range of bar number 1. If you see this, it's a fairly high level of security that it will continue going lower. But can we increase that? Yes, we can, by adding the candlestick combo. We're only going to sell if the engulfing bar, that's bar number 2, is colored red. Remember, we don't care what bar number 1 is colored, as long as bar number 2 is red. So we want to see this go from this to this. All right, bar number 1 is green, makes no difference. Bar number 1 needs to be red. Now remember, this is not conventional candlestick trading. I know whatever platform you have, some of the major platforms, when it's an up day, the bar is colored green. And when it's a down day, the bar is colored red. Okay, now that is an Americanized version of how candlesticks should look. When I first learned about candlesticks in the 80s, I learned them from a Japanese bank, and that's not the way they were applied. The only reason they were changed to colors is because Westernized traders couldn't understand candlesticks. It was too difficult to figure out. They said, I've never seen anything like this. So they decided to color up bars green and down bars red, just so that it would make it easier and they could sell it on their platform, okay? But if you're looking at traditional candlesticks, they actually look like this. An up day was outlined black, and it was called a hollow bar. It was just the back of the screen was the color, which was white. And a down day was always black, okay? But when we apply the pet D, that's the only time you'll see colors. Okay, makes sense? Now, if you see this, the candlestick combo is telling you that that's a high probability downward move in store, okay? So let's go back to that original chart we looked at in Lockheed. Remember, we had the conventional wisdom told us to buy here and to buy here. Well, if we had applied the candlestick combo and applied the pet D, what is the color of the outline of bar number 2? It's red, not only there, but here as well. So what was the market telling us? Remember, we don't have chat rooms. We don't care about earnings. We don't care about blogs or what some guy says, what the market indicators are. We only care about what the market is translating to us. And the market was telling us it wants to go lower. So we're not going to buy anything. But look what we have here. Right here, we have a strategy 5 sell signal. Bar number 2 is colored red. Bar number 2 will always be the bar below the arrow. And then we have another one right here. Bar number 2 is colored red. And then we have another one right here. So do you see how simple it is when, 1, you're not trading the conventional way of candlesticks, and 2, when you're using the pet D to confirm or to take your trading to the next level by making it a more highly probable setup. This is what will give you the results you want. They're a lot more consistent because you're applying the candlestick combo and not using conventional way of trading candlesticks. Take it from me. When I first started trading, I traded candlesticks that way. And sure, they would work every once in a while, and I'll think, wow, this is great, really working well. I'm buying at the low, I'm selling at the high. And then when they stopped working, like the example right here, I gave everything back. So that's not the way you want to trade. That's more of a gambling mentality. You ever watch gamblers? They're riding high in April, shot down in May, right? That's not the way professional traders trade. Professional traders, if you look at their profit and loss, have a nice stair-step approach to their P&L, to their equity curve. And that's what you want to get. That's what consistency will give you. Okay, So let's look at the candlestick combo trading process. Okay, this is the process you would go on once you become a student of the candlestick combo, should you decide to. And remember, we're going to share with you how simple it is on our platform. We designed this to make candlestick trading simple. Okay, so let's look at some recent examples now. Everything we've been showing you is older for educational purposes. Let's look at some things that happened within the last month. Some things I'm going to share with you happened within the last 2 or 3 days. All right, here's an example in COP, Conoco. All right, it's been going up, right? Now, most traders would say, yeah, Steve, you're right. It's in an uptrend. It's been going steadily up. But you know, that chat room I go to, the guy's saying it's overbought. And when it gets up to this level, this is where you want to sell, right? So you know what? I'll just make a quick trade here and go short. And when it gets down here, when it's oversold, then I'll buy it, okay? Does this sound familiar? Is this the way you make your trading decisions? By listening to indicators that have, no reliability or someone in a chat room? Remember, we want to listen to only one thing. That's the source. That's the chart in front of us. We don't want to listen to somebody, I don't, traders, I know a handful of traders that are still trading from my days on the floor, okay, 40, 50 years. And not one of them wastes their time on earnings. Not one of them wastes their time listening to guys on TV. Not one of them wastes their time looking at economic indicators or support and resistance, because they have a plan that they know works, and that's all they focus on. And it's usually very simple, the way the candlestick combo is. All right, so most traders would say it's a little bit overbought. Maybe I'll wait for it to come down a little bit. What is the Candlestick Strategy 5 first telling us? Well, on our platform, the process would be you'd click on Strategy 5 in our green strategy tab here, and you see in this drop-down menu, you'd click on signal arrows, and it's telling you there's a buy signal, right? Where you think it's overbought, there's actually a buy signal. Now, to take that setup to the next level, we apply the PET D. Simple enough. We just click on PET D right here in the upper left-hand corner in the drop-down menu. Actually, no, it'll just turn automatically green. And you see right there, you have a candlestick combo setup. You have a buy signal that's colored or outlined green. So that's all you need to know. And in the next month, coming into 2 weeks ago, the stock was up 16 points, okay? That's how simple trading can be when you're focusing on the source, the chart in front of you. How about ADSK, okay, Autodesk? Most traders, myself included, when I first started trading, would look at this and say, well, it's been coming down, but you know what? Look at the support. See how it's trying to make that little bottom right there? And that $10,000 class I took on support and resistance says that this is where all the institutions are buying, so it's got to hold. I think I want to be a buyer here, Steve. Does that sound familiar? What is the market telling us? Click on Strategy 5, click on signal arrows. It's actually telling you this is a high probability sell setup. But can we increase our odds for consistency? Sure, let's add the PET D. We need to see the bar right here below the arrow colored red. This is bar number 2, bar number 1, bar number 2. Click on PET D, and yes, it's red. So this is a high probability candlestick combo sell signal. You could have bought the puts. We realize that it's an expensive stock. How you want to trade is entirely up to you. 25 points coming into last week. This just happened a couple of weeks ago. Let's look at another example in CERN, okay? Now this was at the middle point of December. As we can see, it's been going up, and once again, there was a buy signal right here. This is a bullish engulfing pattern. Bar number 2 is outlined green. So that's a high probability candlestick combo setup. And look what happened. Stock shot up 15 points. Now, many traders say, well, why did it go up? We really don't care. But, this gap up day here was on the news of a buyout rumor, okay? Most likely it was going to be bought out. So it's funny how 1, 2, 3, 4 days in advance, the candlestick combo generated a buy signal. Do you see why we don't focus on news, or we don't focus on traditional ways of trading? Because it really doesn't matter. If you're investing, if you're holding something for 10, 20 years, sure, you need to know about the company, you need to know about overall economic conditions. But if you're trading for a week, month, or maybe 2 or 3 months, there's absolutely no reason. I personally was trained the same way you were to look at news, to look at all the earnings, to look at all the fundamental indicators, and it couldn't help me. It didn't make me any money. My mentors told me that, Steve, there's really no reason to look at that. if you learn how to listen to the market, that's all you have to look at. And once it was difficult, it took a little courage, but once I let go of that, that's when my trading started to become consistent. So I stopped looking at any news, any fundamental information, any earnings 4 decades ago. And if I'm still here, don't you think I'm proof that you really don't need that to be consistent? Now, don't get me wrong. If you feel you need to look at that, then by all means, go ahead. All we're saying is that it is in no way required at specialist trading to become a consistent trader. You do not need to look and have to figure out what the earnings are, or if that's good or bad. I can't tell you how many times I was on the floor. Remember, as a specialist, I was in charge of about 60 stocks, making markets in them. And I can't tell you many times the earnings would come out in the stock and they'd be phenomenal. I'd say, wow, I did all the estimates and these are great. And the stock would go straight down. Have you seen that? Or they're terrible earnings and the stock would go straight up. You see, it's too subjective. We want things that are more black and white, things that are really cut and dry, that we know if it's a green outline, that's the pet D telling you the market wants to go higher. It's translating the market wants to go higher. We want things that are simple to trade, not very subjective and very difficult to figure out. Let's look at this example in ADP. Obviously, we're in a downtrend, right? Traditional wisdom would tell us, well, here's where we look for a buy setup, right? No, not with the way I'm teaching you to trade candlesticks. What we want to do is look for anything that creates a candlestick combo setup, which is right here at the very low of that downward move. We're still getting a sell signal. Now, this was on the 19th of January, just about a week or so ago. 30 points coming into last Thursday. Not a bad little trade, right? How about DLTR? This is Dollar Tree. This is a while back, but we had 2 buy signals that were both colored or outlined green by the pet D. Stock went up 50 points. Here's another example in Zoom. This was a few weeks ago. Obviously, it had been going down. All the bars were red, plus we had a strategy number 5 sell signal. So we have a perfect candlestick combo set up to go short in Zoom. Now, you could have bought the puts. You could have bought some type of spread with a bias to the downside, or maybe short the stock. It's up to you. But either way, you could have potentially made 35 points coming into last week. Now, a lot of students say, well, what happens when the trend changes? Well, the beauty of this strategy is that it goes with the trend. For example, we see here in AMD, Advanced Micro, that it's been going up, okay? From October to December, it was going straight up. And if we applied the pet D is agreeing with it. In fact, the pet D told us well in advance, down here, right? Down here at these levels, that we had consecutive green bars. So it was already telling us that we were in an uptrend, okay? All we have to do is apply strategy number 5 signals. And look at all the buy setups we could have had. We could have potentially made 48 points in just a couple of months had we taken this first signal here, okay? Now, as with all trends, they kind of stall and then they start to go the opposite direction. Well, we just changed with the direction. Now, since the majority of the bars are red, let's look for a sell signal that the bar below it is colored red. And what do we have? Right here, sell signal. Had you taken that, potentially you could have made 30 points. So in about 3 or 4 months, you could have potentially made 78 points. Now, I know you would have had to take the signals and then sell at the very high or cover at the very low. I know that's very difficult, and I wouldn't expect anyone to do that. So let's say instead of 78 points, you didn't make that, you made maybe half of that, okay? All right. So would you be happy making 39, 40 points? All right. Or let's say you only made a quarter of that. Okay, would you be happy in 2 or 3 months making 19 or 20 points? So either way you slice it up, a lot of people say, well, Steve, yeah, I would have had to get out of the top or out of the bottom. Well, sure, let's only take a quarter of that. Would you be happy making 20 points in 3 months? It's still not something to slouch at. Here's an example in DocuSign. Once again, the majority of the bars are red, so the pet D is telling us the market wants to go lower. That's what it's translating. And we have our first strategy number 5 sell signal. So that's our signal to go short. 135 points coming into last week. Once again, obviously some news or something came out on this day. I have no idea. And I really don't care. Why would I care what the news was? I'm more concerned that I was short and that I would have made money. Let's say you hadn't taken this signal and you said, gosh, I missed it. Well, not entirely, because if you wait, you see that another sell signal was generated right here coming into January, and you could have potentially made 40 points coming into last week. So the market is always giving you a chance to come along with it. The only trouble is we're always trained to do the opposite. We're always trained to try and pick a bottom or pick a top. Trust me, you will never be consistent if you use that approach. We're always trying to be in sync with the market as opposed to fighting it. AVGO, lastly, let's look at this example here. Buy signal was generated right at the top. That's okay, we don't care, because we could have potentially made 135 points coming into last week once again, okay? All right, let's recap before I tell you about a great offer. Remember, only buy and sell candlestick patterns that are in sync with the PET D. Okay, that will really elevate your trading. That will really get you on the road to consistency. So ask yourself, do you think our candlestick combo, strategy number 5, along with the PET D method, can help your trading? I think after seeing this short presentation, it's a resounding yes. So here's what we have for you, a fantastic special discount for all the people attending today. We're going to offer you a special candlestick combo deal today, which includes strategy 5 along with the PET D. You'll get instant course access, detailed video instruction. And remember, I haven't talked at all about entries, exits, or stop placement. That's all included in the course. In fact, in the course, we give you upwards of 7 different entries, 7 different exits, and 7 different stop placements. Remember, we are simply providing you with this information, and we show you how each and every one of those are applied, and then you can choose which best fits your nature. For example, I know many traders are kind of like me. I was trained on the floor to get in and out of a trade really quickly. So a lot of traders don't like to hold on to position that long. They'd rather be in and out maybe in a day or two. So we have exit levels for that. A lot of traders say, no, I want to hold on and get as much bang for my buck. So we share with you different ways to do that. You see, we can't just give you one and say, that's perfect for everyone, because once again, we will be trading for you. And that's not how you become a consistent trader. Our job as a mentor is to provide you with all these different variables and then work with you so that you can decide what feels best for you. I know some traders that can sleep with $1 million loss, and I know some other traders that if they lose $500 would go into a panic. So everyone has different risk parameters. You can't expect everyone to trade the same, and that goes against our philosophy. We want you to make your own decisions, and we don't believe any two traders should ever trade alike. So you're going to get all of this, and remember, you also get the PET D with 4 separate PET D trading techniques that are not in any way related to what I just shared with you today. They're stand-up PET D trading techniques by themselves. Now, everything I shared with you, I displayed using our platform. Now, a full year of our platform costs close to $1,200. We have a great offer today. We're going to slash that price, and we're actually going to give you a full 12 months free. Okay, a full year free of the platform included with the candlestick combo. Now, not only are you going to get strategy 5 along with the PET D, but you'll also get our proprietary buy sell line, which instantly tells you the overall trend. You'll also get a nightly scanner. You can scan on a nightly basis for candlestick combo setups. You don't have to search through thousands and thousands of markets every night. You'll also get automatic exit levels. This is just one of our exiting methods that is one click away on our platform. Automatically tells you where these levels are. You'll get a strength of trend tool that's designed to tell you if a trend is running out of steam or if it still has some more energy behind it. And lastly, this all comes with personalized tech support. So this is a great, great offer. And let me just share with you some more information here. This happened just this past couple of weeks. If you think, well, I've looked at this, I see what you're saying, Steve, but I really don't need it. I've had moderate success with candlesticks, or maybe you're just starting to trade candlesticks and you say, well, candlesticks really aren't that bad, right? Well, let's look at this example in MNST. This is Monster. All right, let's just say you saw this and said, well, here's a bullish engulfing pattern, and we're buying it at the very bottom. That's a good reversal. Let's say you had bought that, which was just a couple of weeks ago. Look what would have happened at that buy signal. Do you see how we say how traditional candlesticks really don't have high levels of consistency? This is why you aren't getting the type of results you want with candlesticks. If you had the candlestick combo, you could have seen with the PET D that this was outlined red. Even though this was a bullish engulfing pattern and it was an up day, look at the outline, it's red. Therefore, you would have never have taken the trade and you would have never lost any money. Same thing works here in Zion, okay? Market's been going up. Maybe that trading room you went to says, you got to short this now. It's too high. On top of that, look at this bearish hammer you have. Okay. So you got to sell this. This is a great short. It's probably going to come all the way down here again. Well, once you sell it, look what happens. Okay. This was just a month ago. All right. Had you had the candlestick combo, you could have applied the PET D to confirm. And remember, in order to sell any candle pattern, this needs to be red. And what color is it? Even though it's a down day, it's colored green. So the translator is telling us that, sure, it closed down on the day, but it still wants to go higher. So I wouldn't sell this. And that would have been the right thing to do. So you wouldn't have lost any money there. Okay, so let's break down our special. Now, normally, the price of the candlestick combo is $54.54, all right? We realize that's pretty expensive, so we're going to discount tremendously. In fact, we're going to discount this over 50%. So it's only going to be $29.95. You're actually going to be saving $24.59, almost $2,500. That's 55% off the normal price. But we're going to take it a step further. For a limited time only, we're going to offer you a one-time payment of $497 and only $97 a month. This is a fantastic offer because you don't have to come up with $24.59. In fact, you don't even have to come up with $500, just $497 and $97 a month. Now, this is on a first come, first served basis. This is for a limited time only. So you have to contact Pro Trader Strategies, my sister site. They're in charge of all the discounts. They're all in charge of all the pricing. And you have to mention that you want that one-time payment special of $497, $97 a month, okay? Now, obviously, if you just want it outright, you say, listen, I don't need it. I don't need the monthly payment. I'm ready. Just charge me $29.95. You're still going to get that 55% discount. And remember, both of these deals, the $29.95, where you save $24.59, or the one-time payment of $497, both of these come with 12 months free of the platform. So this is a really phenomenal deal. If you're still not convinced, let me share with you what happened Friday, okay? Here's an example in FUN, F-U-N, okay? It's a Cedar Fair LP. All right, on the 28th, a strategy number 5 buy signal was generated. It was confirmed with the PET D. Once we had the PET D, we see that this is outlined green. And in 2 days, the stock went up 10 points, okay? This just happened 3 days ago. So these are happening all the time. I know a lot of times you'll go to webinars and someone will promise the moon, they have a great system. And then, you look at it and then you see all the examples are 2 or 3 years ago. I always try to share with our students things that are happening very recently, currently, as little as 2 or 3 days ago, because that shows you their consistency. Invest in yourself for the first time. Quit relying on someone or something to tell you how to trade. Become a member of the Candlestick Combo course. Take advantage of these 2 great deals, whichever one you decide. The best way to do that is to contact Pro Trader Strategies. They're my sister site. They're in charge of all the discounts, all the pricing, all the tech support. I would highly suggest giving them a call at 310-598-6677. Trading consultants are manning the phones right now. They would be more than happy to take your order over the phone, whether you want to pay upright $29.95 or whether you want that limited time offer of a $497 payment plan. But remember also, if you just want more information about pricing or about other strategies, they're there to work with you. So there's absolutely no obligation. If you feel, I don't want to be intimidated to buy something, don't worry. They will just be giving you information, and they're not there to press you at all. So just give them a call if you just want more information concerning that, okay? Now, that link you see at the very bottom right here is the link that will take you to the info and the sign-up page if you want to take care of it online. It's not a live link, but if you look on the chat box, we have just posted a live link on the chat box, okay? So you can just click that on and it will automatically take you there. Now, I'm going to leave this information up here. I promised I would answer any question. So if you have questions right now, just go to the chat box, type them in, and I promise I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Let's see here. I think we have one from Steve. I love the training. I have a couple of questions. Does the PET D color in the bars, does it have anything to do with the market is doing? In other words, the PET D red is translating which direction your trade should not be with the open and close. Well, let me just tell you right away. Remember, the PET D is translating. But the way to use the PET D, especially in the beginning when you're learning, is not by looking at an individual bar. That's the way you can apply it to confirm a strategy already in place. But you're just looking at standalone PET D. What you want to see, the rule of thumb is 3 to 5 consecutive bars of the same color. So if I see 3 green bars, that's the market most likely telling me we're going to continue in an upward direction until I see 3 to 5 consecutive red bars. Okay, that's how simple it is. Now, a lot of times you'll see 2 red, 2 green, 1 red, 1 green, and it'll be kind of this back and forth. Well, basically, once again, that's the market translating that it's in an indecision mode. It can't come up with a trend. This happens a lot during the summer months, or if you're intraday trading, it happens usually around this time, around noontime for traders. That's because no one is trading at those times, and so it's just kind of holding pattern. When you see that happen, the best thing is just to stay out of the market, okay? Someone's asking, what's the difference between a solid versus outline candlesticks? How should we set up the PET D candlesticks, hollow versus solid? Well, remember, the PET D should be set up as hollow, because when you're looking at candlesticks, the traditional way of looking at candlesticks is hollow. And the back of your screen, the color of the screen should be white, similar to the examples I was sharing with you. So you'll just automatically know if you have a bar that has a white background, it's an up day. And if you have a bar that's a black background, it's a down day. Now, once you apply the PET D, all you have to do is look at the colors. The PET D doesn't care if the market was up or the day was down. It makes no difference. It's just telling you what the short-term trend is. It's translating that, okay? When I set up fill hollow candles, it turns red outline to green. Is this the PET D translation to buy? No, well, first of all, when you use the hollow, it turns red outline to green. Usually when a bar closes, it stays that color. So it doesn't repaint itself. In other words, if something closes red, it's not going to repaint to be green. The PET D is specifically designed that once the bar closes, that's it. So if you're seeing the bar before it's closed, say you're looking at an hourly bar and a little of the time it's red, then it turns to green. Remember, all you're concerned about is when the bar closes at the time frame, that's what the market is telling you at that time, okay? Now we have 2 different PET Ds. Yes, we have a PET D fast and a PET D slow. PET D fast is just mainly, the main thing you need to know is PET D fast is applied for mainly about 70 to 75% of all setups. The PET D slow, and we say this in the PET D course, is mainly for staying in the trade longer. But that's all included in the course, the description and how to use it, okay? Good questions. Any more? Let me see, we have some more questions here. Somebody's asked, can this be applied to forex? Yes, it can. The reason I showed the majority of our charts as stock charts is because the majority of our students around the world are stock traders. But we still have a significant amount of traders that trade the forex. We also have e-mini traders. We also have crypto traders. So it makes no difference. That's why I made sure to mention in the description of the PET D that you can apply it to any market, any time frame. Absolutely makes no difference. So even though you may not have seen an example in cryptos or an example in the British pound, it makes no difference. The same rules apply to whatever market you're trading, okay? Okay, I'm sorry I didn't have any of those examples. Maybe I'll put them in next time. Lastly, this is the most common question I get. Someone's asking, what does educational correspondence mean? Well, let me just backtrack here. If I look and I show you what was on the offer right here, it says educational correspondence. Educational correspondence just means that each and every one of you as students of mine will get my personal email address. All right. Now, I know a lot of you, if you've purchased strategies or systems before from other websites, you'll get an email address or a phone number, and usually that will take you to an intern or it'll take you to an assistant, but it won't take you to the actual person who developed the strategy or the educator. Well, it's different at Specialist Trading. We're a small company and I answer and get all of my emails. So if you send me an email, it comes directly to me. I don't have an assistant. I don't have an intern working for me. Now, obviously we have the trading consultants, which are more of a tech support, more of sales department, and more for info. But when we're talking about once you become a student, well, you will ask me all questions, anything concerning trading that will go directly to me. So that's what we mean by right here, educational correspondence, okay? You'll have my personal email address. You can contact me whenever you like, weekends, middle of the night. I still get those emails as well because we have students all over the world. It makes no difference during the market hours, after, before, it makes no difference. And I'll usually try and get back to you within 24 hours. I know a lot of times people would say, wow, that's so quickly. I used to take me weeks to get answers from other ones. Well, don't worry, try to get back to you usually as quickly as possible, okay? Let me just skip forward once again to show you that offer. Lastly, remember, all of this includes a full year of the platform. There are so many other things included on the platform that I just don't have time to mention. Remember, I worked nearly 20 years on the floor. Most of the things on the platform are studies, techniques. They're also just little tips and techniques and methods that you won't find anywhere else, because these are things that I've accumulated over the years from my years on the trading floor. So they're not the traditional ways of looking at different markets. And so this is really a tremendous deal. You're getting a full year of that, and you're really, really out there to help you take your trading to the next level, okay? So take advantage of this. Really try to decide quickly, because remember, this is a limited time offer. That $29.95 price is discounted 55% off of the normal price if you'd like to pay for it in full. Or that limited time first come first serve for $497 is tremendous, only $500, less than $500, and just a small payment of $97 a month, okay? So this is really a great offer. I really feel it'll help you, and I really look forward to you trying to get the results you've been looking for in candlestick trading. If there are no further questions, as we take one last look at our disclaimer, I just want to say thank you so much for attending. I really wish you the best of luck in trading, but if you want to take your trading to the next level, come on board, become a student of mine, and I really look forward to seeing you all in the Candlestick Combo class. Thanks for taking time out of your Wednesday. Hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.